They reached out, but don't reply until you see this. Stoicism. Modern Stoic. Don't let the noise of their return drown out the silence that healed you. Sometimes the person who left you in silence only comes back to see if you're still broken, but you're not that man anymore. They disappeared like you didn't matter. Days, weeks, maybe even months. You waited, you hurt, but you never begged. You didn't chase. And now, they're back with a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" Like nothing happened. Pause. This isn't just a message. It's a test. A test to see if you're still the same man they walked away from. A test to see if they still have a grip on your emotions. Your response or your silence will reveal everything about your growth. You see, in Stoicism, the power lies in the response, not the reaction. So before you reply, breathe. Ask yourself this. Does this conversation serve your peace or disturb it? You've earned your strength in solitude. You've rebuilt. You've evolved. This isn't about being bitter. It's about being better. Respond only if it aligns with the man you've become, not the boy they once tried to manipulate. Let them feel the weight of your silence or the wisdom of your words, but never let them feel like they still own your attention. Today's affirmation: I respond with purpose, not emotion. Drop that in the comments if you're ready to reclaim the narrative. Like, share, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom that keeps you grounded in your power. And remember, you are not the one who was left behind. You are the one who moved forward. Number 1, why they reached out. Before you even think about replying to that message, let's set the record straight. They didn't reach out because they suddenly had a spiritual awakening and realized how deeply they loved you. They didn't toss and turn in bed, struck with regret, desperate to fix things. No, what triggered their message wasn't love. It was silence. Your silence. The kind of silence that speaks louder than any words. When you stopped reacting, when you refused to feed their ego, when you started moving like a man who values his peace more than chaos, that's when they started to notice. That's when the confusion set in, not because they miss your soul, but because they miss your attention. Let's be brutally honest. People don't always miss you. What they truly miss is the version of themselves they could see reflected in your attention. Your validation, your responses, your need. They fed off that. And now that it's gone, their ego is restless, whispering questions like, "Wait, why haven't he texted? Is he done with me? Has he moved on? Has someone else replaced me?" But you must understand, this isn't a message sent from regret. It's not a love letter. It's a test. A test to see if they still have access to you. It's not affection. It's control disguised as curiosity. Now here's where modern Stoicism comes into play. You see, when someone walks out of your life, especially after you've invested your time, your energy, your spirit, they expect you to come crawling. That's their default assumption. They expect you to reach out, to apologize, to chase, to prove your worth. And the moment you don't, the moment you choose composure over craving, that's when the power dynamic flips. That's when they start doubting their own worth. It rattles them. Your silence becomes your strength. Like the calm before a storm, your restraint says everything. Because you're not begging, you're not chasing. You've become unavailable, not out of pettiness, but out of principle. And it's that emotional discipline that unsettles them. As the wise Stoic Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Your freedom lies in your ability to control your emotions, not theirs. And that, my friend, is the real test of a man. When you choose not to reply, when you resist the impulse to respond out of old habits, you're reclaiming authority over your own life. You're demonstrating that your time, your presence, and your attention are privileges, not entitlements. Real life advice? Stay grounded. Think. Don't let a single text drag you back into an emotional loop that you worked so hard to break free from. Ask yourself, what changed? Did they apologize with accountability? Or did they just poke you to see if you'd jump? In many cases, it's not love knocking. It's control wearing a familiar mask. And once you recognize that, You'll stop feeling the need to answer every knock on your emotional door. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your strength is not in your response, but in your discernment. This is your moment to stand tall, to protect your peace, and to hold the line. You've come too far to go back to a version of yourself who needed their approval to feel whole. Let them wonder. Let them sit with the silence, because your silence now carries the weight of your growth, your dignity, your self-mastery. If you've ever wondered when to apply Stoicism to your relationships, this is it. Don't break your silence for someone who only noticed your worth when you stopped serving theirs. What about you? Have you experienced this? Have you ever stayed silent and watched someone come back just to test if they still had a grip on your heart? Drop your story in the comments below. I want to hear from strong men like you who've walked this path. Let's sharpen each other. Let's build a community of noble minds who refuse to be manipulated by fleeting texts and hollow words. Number 2. How to reply. When they finally reach out after all that silence, after ghosting, after walking away like your presence meant nothing, you don't respond with paragraphs. You don't pour your heart out. You don't give them the gift of explanation. You respond with power, one line, one sentence. Hey, hope you're doing well. That's it, because at that moment you are not writing for them, you are leading yourself. You're no longer that version of you who used to bleed emotions through the screen. You are no longer seeking closure, validation, or understanding from someone who couldn't handle your worth the first time around. Understand this. True power is not in how much you say, but in what you choose not to say. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." You are no longer playing the same emotional game. You are a modern Stoic now. You've mastered your reactions. And that's what burns them more than any bitter word ever could. Because they were counting on the old you, the one who'd chase, who'd explain, who'd unravel himself just to be heard. But what they get now is silence. Power, restraint, a presence so composed it intimidates. A man who replies like a king, calm, short, decisive. It shakes them, it confuses them, and it haunts them. In today's world where everyone overshares, overreacts, and overexplains, your silence becomes a rare weapon. In fact, it's psychological warfare, reverse psychology at its finest. The more indifferent you appear, the more they crave your attention. That's how you win. That's how high-value men respond. Not by begging, not by breaking down, but by withholding. That one simple reply, "Hope you're doing well," delivers a message louder than 1,000 words. It says, "I've moved on. I've evolved. And you no longer have access to the version of me who tolerated being mistreated." This isn't revenge. This is discipline. This is mastery. And that's what Stoicism is all about, controlling your emotions so they don't control you. If this message hits you deep, if you feel like it's time you step into this stronger, more grounded version of yourself, comment, "I'm not the same man anymore," below. Like this video, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom, and share this with a man who needs to reclaim his power. Number 3. The mind game move. They reached out, huh? And now you feel that pull to reply, don't you? Hold it right there. Don't move, not yet. This is the moment that separates the man who reacts from the man who rules. You've waited for that message. You've hoped for it, maybe even prayed for it. But now that it's here, the game has changed, and you're not playing on their field anymore. You own the board now. They broke the silence, but that doesn't mean you break your power. You don't respond immediately. You pause, on purpose, because the modern Stoic understands something they never will. Response is a privilege, not a reflex. And your silence? It's no accident. It's a message that says, access to me must now be earned. Not because you're trying to hurt them, but because you finally understand your worth. Because now your time is valuable. Your peace is sacred. Your energy is premium. And they don't get to treat it like it's on demand. You wait 24 hours? Minimum. Why? Because you're no longer reacting from emotion, you're responding from principle, because you're no longer the one chasing validation. You are the standard now. Let them overthink. Let them stare at the screen. Let them wonder if you've moved on, because maybe you have. That silence, it'll echo in their mind louder than any text you could send. They'll check if you're online. They'll replay old conversations. They'll start imagining you with someone else. And all the while, you haven't said a word. That's the power of presence without performance. That's how the modern Stoic speaks, by not speaking. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. You're not here to stoop. You're here to rise. You're not here to chase. You're here to lead. And the man who leads waits. He waits not because he's weak, but because he has nothing to prove. This is your moment to shift the power dynamic without saying a single word. Your stillness is strength. Your pause is precision. Your silence is a strategy. If you felt this hit your soul, comment, I move in silence, but my presence is felt. And subscribe for more powerful Stoic truths that sharpen your mind and make you unshakable. Number 4. What their text actually means. When you get a text out of nowhere that says something like, "Hey, hope you're good," or "just checking on you," you might feel a strange mix of emotions, curiosity, nostalgia, maybe even hope. But before you reply, I want you to pause, breathe, and think. These messages may seem innocent on the surface, but they're rarely what they appear to be. In fact, they're not really about you at all. They're about them. A person who once walked away, who stayed silent for weeks, months, or maybe even years, isn't suddenly overwhelmed with deep longing for your presence. What's really happening here is much more calculated and much more common than you think. These are not love letters. They are emotional probes, a digital knock on the door to see if you're still standing behind it. In truth, what their message often means is this: I'm feeling unsure about myself right now, and I need a hit of attention. I wonder if you're still available to give it to me. It's not affection driving their fingers to type, it's ego, curiosity, insecurity. They want to know if you've moved on, if you're still emotionally available to feed their need for validation. It's like throwing a fishing line into a pond to see if there are still fish biting. And if you bite, they get the answer they were looking for, without committing, without explaining, and without actually intending to re-enter your life in any meaningful way. So while the message may be wrapped in politeness or nostalgia, its root is control, a soft form of manipulation. And in that moment, your response, or your silence, says more about you than it does about them. Now here's where modern Stoicism steps in, not as some cold, detached reaction, but as a philosophy of self-respect, inner mastery, and emotional discipline. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You must remember that not every message deserves your energy. You are not obligated to reopen wounds just because someone else is bored or confused. You don't need to answer the knock just because it came. The Stoic man knows that silence can be an act of power. He does not respond to every call. He does not allow the ghosts of the past to steer the direction of his present. Instead, he calmly evaluates, asks himself, does this serve my peace? Does this realign with the standards I've set for my life? And if the answer is no, then the reply is simple. No reply at all. Understand this. It's not bitterness to ignore a half-hearted message. It's wisdom. It's self-protection. It's a declaration to yourself that your time, your growth, and your peace are too sacred to be interrupted by people who had the chance and chose to walk away. Because people don't just reach out when they miss you, they reach out when they miss the version of you that made them feel powerful, adored, or admired. When that supply runs dry, they come back not for reconnection, but for reassurance that they still have some pull in your life. But you're not the same man anymore. You've grown, you've learned, and now you choose to respond not from impulse or longing, but from clarity and intention. In today's world, where a message can stir up 100 emotions in under 5 seconds, modern Stoicism teaches you to anchor yourself in reason before you act. It's about pausing before the reply, not out of fear or pride, but from strength. When you learn to pause, when you learn to see past the surface and recognize the game, you step into a new realm of control. That's where your real power lives. So the next time you get that, "Hey, hope you're doing okay" text, ask yourself this: do I want to engage, or am I just reacting out of an old habit? Am I reaching for the past or protecting the man I've become? You've survived the silence before. Don't let a few nostalgic words pull you back into a story that already had its ending. You are not here to play emotional tag. You are here to build something real, something stable, something that honors the man you are becoming. And if that requires letting the message fade unanswered into the digital void, so be it. That's not a weakness. That's wisdom. That's Stoicism in action. Number 5. What happens next? When someone from your past reaches out, don't be quick to respond. If you reply with power, they'll try to keep the conversation going, acting like they care. But don't fall for it. If they truly missed you, one message wouldn't be enough. They would show effort and consistency, not just random check-ins. Silence made them reach out, and now your power lies in how long you can keep them waiting. Responding with a short, neutral message like, "Hey, hope you're doing well," shows them you've moved on. You're not playing their game, and that's what makes them uncomfortable. They want control, not a real connection. If they truly regretted losing you, they'd do more than send one vague text. They'd show real remorse and effort. Your next move is simple. Keep replies short, calm, and neutral. Don't share too much. By doing so, you make them realize they no longer have access to you. Your silence and calmness are your power. Protect your peace and don't let them regain control. Share your thoughts in the comments. How do you stay in control when someone from your past reaches out? Final thoughts. If they truly miss you, they'll prove it. If they regret losing you, they'll fight for you. But if all they offer is one weak message, let them watch as you move on. Let them see that you are no longer the person they once left behind. Let them feel the absence of your presence, because what you're creating in silence is a version of yourself they can never reach again. I know you've been waiting, replaying that conversation in your mind, hoping for a text, hoping for change. But listen to me. You are no longer the person they walked away from. They expected you to break. They expected you to chase them. They expected you to be there when they decided to come back. But you didn't. Now they feel the weight of your absence. Now they see the strength you've built in your silence. Your transformation has begun, and they didn't expect it. They thought you'd crumble, but instead, you've risen. So, when that text comes, don't let it disturb your peace. Don't let it break everything you've built. If they truly miss you, they'll prove it with consistent effort. If they truly regret losing you, they'll fight for you. But if all they can give is a vague, shallow message, let them see you move on. Let them realize they no longer have control over you. What you're building in silence is something they can never access. This isn't about playing games. This is about taking control of your life, your emotions, your peace. It's about reclaiming your self-respect. It's about showing them that you've moved on from the version of yourself they thought they could manipulate. Your silence speaks volumes. It makes them wonder, makes them question. And now, it's time for them to feel the consequences of their actions. They thought they could walk away and return at their convenience, but you've changed, you've grown, and now they realize they no longer have power over you. So, when that text comes, stand firm. Keep your response short, neutral, and controlled. Don't give them the emotional reaction they're craving. Don't let them think they still hold power over you. Let them feel the consequences of their actions. Let them see you moving on. Let them witness the strength you've gained in your silence. If they truly miss you, they'll prove it with more than just a weak message. They'll show up with consistent effort, with change, and with determination. But if all they offer is a few shallow words, let them watch as you move forward without them. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control the conversation, not them. That's your truth. That's your power. And don't forget to like, comment, and share this message with someone who needs it. Subscribe to the channel, because what you're building in silence is a version of yourself they'll never be able to reach again. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Stand firm, stand strong, and keep moving forward.